Hey y'all, welcome to the family that reads a lot. We just today, like a few hours ago, finished up our first month of homeschool. So we officially have 4 weeks under our belt. I'm breaking our homeschool year into 5 week units, but I wanted to kind of come to y'all a little earlier than that and just talk through how everything's going. So I know that a lot of y'all have seen the science video that I came out with. I'm going to be coming out with a history one shortly-ish. I'll explain to you why I haven't yet. But just wanted to kind of tell y'all how the changes we've made this year are working. I have a list, so hopefully I don't get lost in the weeds, but we'll see. Um, One of the biggest changes that I've made this year is trying to really work with my daughter. Last year, we found out she has ADHD. And so we're trying to really tailor school to that and make it work for her instead of against her. And that has been going really well. Um, what else we have changed, and this isn't really just this year, but the last 2 years, really, I've been transitioning, I guess, to more of a chapter book, Charlotte Masony style for certain subjects. So I will tell you that it's not for every subject. We're not fully like living books only or anything like that. We have full blown curriculum for math and for basically language arts. For science, my son is doing a full blown curriculum, but my daughter is not. For history, we don't do a full blown curriculum. And I think that's really the basics. That's kind of what I'm going to talk about here today is the big subjects. So one of the best things that has happened this year already that I've seen change and shift, my daughter, who has always been sort of a reluctant reader, not that she couldn't read, but she didn't enjoy it. She didn't like it. She grew frustrated by it. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it's the age, her reading skills, us doing a better job of her just being happier in school, what changed, but she has gone from a reluctant style reader to a voracious reader. Um, she's read two chapter books for her. So my kids are assigned living books, chapter books, whatever you want to call them, all through the year. Sometimes they have to do with history, sometimes they have to do with what we're learning in science, sometimes they have to do with geography or something, and sometimes they're just good books. We are very much a book family. Like, obviously, you see the name of the channel. Books are a big part of our life. So it's not just, okay, your curriculum says you have to read this book. It's you are reading a book constantly. So every 2 weeks, I assign them a new book. Sometimes it takes longer than 2 weeks, sometimes it takes less. For her, it's always tended to take longer because she just kind of drug her feet. But this year, she has finished both of her books ahead of schedule. So the first book she read was A Lion to Guard Us by Clyde Robert Beulah. This is a book about some children who are immigrating to America from um, England, I think, to the Jamestown settlement. So we're learning about American history. This was a good opener. This is a fun, quick, easy read. It's not hard at all. It's like 100 pages, very spread out type, all the things. But I think that was good. And I think that's what she needed at the beginning. And she loved it. She said it was fun. She enjoyed the story. And she remembered a lot from it. Like, we weren't learning about Jamestown yet. At the beginning, we did 2 weeks on Native Americans, and then we've been doing 2 weeks on colonies. But by the time we got to colonies, she could give me all these stats about Jamestown and how it was the starving time and how the ships got there and saved everybody and all. It was great. So her second book was a little bit harder, a little bit more involved. This is 160 pages. It's got some illustrations, but not a lot. This is a book that she picked up last year from one of our local homeschool stores. It's Misty of Chincoteague by Marguerite Henry. We had to Google how to read the word because I was like Chincoteague, or we were butchering it, but it's Chincoteague. It's a horse story. It's a Marguerite Henry kind of classic. She's read one Marguerite Henry before. It's Cinnabar, the 1 o'clock fox, I think. She really enjoyed that one, but it was a little difficult for her. This one, she blew through. She finished it in under her 2 week schedule, and she told me all about it, what was great about the ending and this and that, and just has eaten these up and loved them. So that's been great. My son read 2 books as well because it's been 4 weeks. So his first book was Carry On, Mr. Bowditch, which is kind of a classic. It talks about early navigation techniques and the founding of the colonies, and how all that is tied into this person's life. It's a really good book. I read it 3 years ago when we were doing American history because I was going to have him read it then. But there's some loss and things in this book that made me at that time feel like he wasn't ready for it. Now he's ready for it. It was great. He enjoyed it. He found it interesting. It's got a lot of like overcoming things in it. Um, the Mr. Bowditch is taken out of school because his family needs the money from him working, and he could have just taken that and settled into his life, and that would have been it. But instead he overcame and he continued to learn. So it's about lifelong learning, and just a really good book. So he did this and really enjoyed it. His second one I did as an inspirational book, which I told y'all many moons ago, like 6 months ago, that I was looking for good inspirational books. I found this one. It's Shaken by Tim Tebow, and had a lot of kind of the same vibes or what have you. It's about overcoming. It talks about his mission trips to the Philippines and how he saw people that had so much harder lives than he does or did at the time, and how that helped him get through his own troubles and not see them as such big things. So lots and lots of good messages in this one. My son's also a football kid, so he really enjoyed it being about him. So that one was good. This one, Carry On, Mr. Bowditch, is actually going to lead to a field trip for us. So we are going to go to the Houston Maritime Museum. I will try and throw some clips in here of that. Okay, so hopefully y'all got to see some fun clips from the Maritime Museum. And that was for him, not really for him reading this book, but it all kind of ties in because it's about exploration and ships and all those things. Let's see. We talked about reading. That was one of the big parts that I'm super, super happy about. Just to see her build a love of reading is like, we made it. That was what this was about. Like, so good. Let's talk about what's not working. So, what's not working is history. Let me grab this. So, I did a video and I don't think I released it to y'all because I just wasn't sure how history was going to go this year. So, I don't know if I told y'all this or not, but I was using this Harcourt Social Studies, the United States Making a New Nation, kind of as a spine. And we're sitting down on the couch first thing in the morning, before breakfast, before exercise, before all the things, and sitting together as a family and going through stuff. And I really wanted this to just kind of be a spine that we would talk a little bit about, and then we'd read some really good books or whatever. And then while they're eating breakfast, they have videos to watch on the subject. The video part is working great. The sitting down talking part is not working. They're all about it. It's that part is working, but I'm falling back on this too much. Okay, sorry, interruptions. I'm reading out of this too much and it's boring. Okay, it's very textbooky, it's very simplistic, it's all the things that I'm not looking for. So, and at the beginning, I didn't do that because when we were learning about Native Americans, we didn't use this. We had a library book that we used, and it was just better. And so, we're going to finish out colonies in that on Monday, and then I'm going to set that aside. So, I got some different books from the library. I may use that like to prep myself to maybe find some discussion points and write them out that we're going to discuss, but I'm tired of just sitting there reading out of it. So I found this one, which is How did tea and taxes spark a revolution? Because we're going into Revolutionary War times. Farmer George Plants a Nation. This one's really good. I read through it before I decided we were going to use it. Projects about colonial life. This is just to do some fun projects. We're going to be doing some little things over the next few weeks, some hands-on stuff. This is the Wilderness Road of 1775. This we're going to start reading next week. And it just talks about the Cumberland Gap, moving into Kentucky, blazing the Wilderness Road. It talks about Daniel Boone. So this is more what I want history to be. I always seem to fall back on the textbooky stuff because it's like I just want to get the statistics out, and that's okay, but it's not everything. So, I'm going to try and be better about reading better books, more interesting things to go along with the videos and things we're using. So, my daughter, we talk in the morning as a group, they watch the videos together, and that's history for her. That's enough for fourth grade. We're covering the main topics, we're doing the things we need to do. My son is actually, I didn't bring it out here, but he is reading Knotgrass. I can't think of the name of it. Whatever the middle grade Knotgrass for American history is. It's like Our Spangled Story was for the little ones. This is something else. This is the next one. We tried Our Spangled Story as a group and didn't love it. It was too much reading, just reading, like kind of regurgitating facts kind of thing. But he doesn't mind reading it on his own, taking notes on it, and then we discuss his notes at the end of the week. So parts of history are working. We just need to tweak it a little bit. Okay, so now to the good parts. What's working? The science that I showed y'all for my daughter is working great. She loves it. She's been super interested in her what was her first one? I don't remember what her first one she did. But then she moved into learning about weather and has really enjoyed that and has spent 2 or 3 weeks inside in that. But I will tell you, we got to Tuesday this week and she's like, "Can I not learn about weather anymore?" And at first I was like, "Well, you need to finish out the week." And then it was, "Well, what if you learn about these couple things that you still haven't touched on that I kind of want you to learn?" And I had to stop myself because it's like, no, that's not what we agreed upon. That's not what this is supposed to be. It's interest led. If she has lost interest in this topic, we need to move on. So she went ahead and switched. She is going to do a really short unit, like a week or two, on farms, which is kind of funny to me because we live on a farm. Um, she's around cows and horses and animals and rabbits and chickens and all the things. She knows what these things are, but she still was interested in just reading them. So, okay, so we got the Farm Anatomy by Julia Rothman. This is, some people think of it as a homeschool resource, some don't, whatever. It's interesting. It goes through different farm machinery. It talks about different animals, different plants, all the different things. It's a fun read. Now, do I think that this is necessarily a curriculum? Not necessarily. They do have books like notebooking that goes along with it that are like worksheets and stuff, but that's not what we're trying to do with her science this year. So she is reading this, taking a few notes, but she's more just and it's like combines and tractors. She sees those going down the road every day. But she was interested in it, so she's going to be doing that for a little bit. Her next one that she wants to do after that is like conservation, ecology kind of stuff. So I need to start gathering resources for that. Oh, the other thing of hers I was going to show you. This is Story of the World. We're not using this and reading it. I did this with the kids when my son was pretty small. I don't even know if she was doing school with this yet. and I read it to him. He enjoyed that. She doesn't like to be read to. She is listening to this as an audiobook and is thoroughly enjoying it, and it kind of coincides with all the other stuff we're doing. So she's enjoying that one. It fell. Um, okay, what else? So language arts, I told y'all we use the good and the beautiful. It's going fine. Hers is level 5, going well. My son is using high school level 1, but I'm breaking it up into 2 years because he's not really high school level yet, but he had done the newer versions of some of their units, and I didn't want to flip back to the old versions. I felt like they're just not as well done to me, and that everybody has their opinions. But um, so he is doing high school level 1. When I got it in, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, this isn't as much as I thought it should be. It didn't feel equivalent to the younger years language arts. Well, as we got into it, I had figured he would use 2 weeks to complete a booklet. There's 10 booklets in a year, but it just looked really short. Now, we did have a youth project come up that he ended up having to go to the second week every morning. So he was doing school in the afternoon when he was already tired. However, there is way more depth in these booklets than I thought. There's a lot more online resources. There's things they have to go and listen to. There's different things that they have to look up and stuff like that. So it's much more involved than I thought. And because of that, we ended up stretching it to 3 weeks. I think we're going to leave it at 3 weeks because otherwise it was like cramming it in. And that wasn't the point. The point was to use these well. So we are going to um, make these into 3 week units. And that works perfectly fine. So we'll see how the second one goes. I'm curious to see how it goes when we don't have the like wrench thrown into everything. What else? Oh, for which we stand. I know some of y'all have commented on this in the video where I showed it. This is his government that he's using. It's fairly simple, fairly short. It's only like 150 pages, but it's really in depth for a middle school government. It talks about the House of Representatives, the president, all the different things, how it works, how the Electoral College works, how Congress works, how what was he reading about today? Debates and caucuses and lots and lots and lots of information in here. So I am thoroughly impressed with this. He is enjoying it. He reads and then we discuss is how we're using this. Super simple, but would essentially be like a middle school social studies government. But I actually think he's getting way more from this, and it's quick and easy. So loving this. I've broken it down into 9 weeks and broken down the chapters and everything. So I think this is going to work perfect. Enjoying that. See, this is why I have to reference my list because I get lost. So government, language arts, field trips, math is going good. She's doing um, the Good and the Beautiful Math 5, which I had heard was really, really difficult. So I had planned on this potentially taking over a year. So far, she's done really well in it. Now, I know the beginning unit is usually part review, but she's been getting into things that she hasn't known, like square roots and different things like that. And she's not batting an eye at it yet. So, as of right now, that's going really, really well. My son is doing algebra 1 with Nicole, the math lady. He's used that for 2 or 3 years and has loved it. It's simple, to the point. It's very, very black and white and like to the point. And that's what he likes in math, and that's what he's using, and he's doing well with that. The other thing we're using, I picked this up, which you can see at Half Price Books last year. It's Adventures in Fantasy. It's a Josie Bass teacher edition. I'd never heard of this. This is by John Gust. It's lessons and activities in narrative and descriptive writing. So I'm going to have him write a fairly large fantasy paper somewhere around Christmas. But as we take breaks from the high school language arts 1, We're going to use that for 3 weeks, and then we're going to use 3 weeks as far as a writing assignment. So to get the year started, I'm just having him do some fun activities out of this. Like they have a map making activity where you make a fantasy map, and it was fun. We used like the Pinterest idea of putting rice on the paper and drawing around it, and he really enjoyed that. It was fun. He this week wrote a paragraph describing one of the locations that's going to be in his paper. So it was something, the icy mountains of snow and ice or something like that. Um, but so far, he's really enjoying this. Next week, he's going to write about one of the characters that's going to be in his fantasy story. And then the last week, I think I'm going to have him write maybe the introduction. And then we'll set it aside, go back to units for 3 weeks, and then either come back to the fantasy story, or we may take a bit of a break and do a comparison contrast paper, and then use this the last unit of the year where we're close to Christmas. So at that point, he's probably going to have more time at home. We won't have as many activities and things, and he'll have more time to focus on his paper. So that's kind of all the resources and how all of that's going. Apart from that, I've shortened our days a little bit. I took out some of the extras, especially for my son, because of him having Algebra 1 and a high school language arts, and he's doing high school physical science. He's doing some really heavy courses this year. So I took out a lot of his extras. Like he used to have spelling tests and like not phonics, but like wordly wise and stuff. And we used to do geography booklets. And I've taken the fluff out of his school. And he's now just focused on his main subjects. And that kind of sounds bad, but it hasn't been, because that way he's still done with school usually by 1 o'clock, sometimes by 2 o'clock. And honestly, if we get past 2 o'clock, like that's not what homeschool is. I don't want to sit here all day long. Um, on my daughters, I haven't added in a lot of fluff. She's doing handwriting and phonics and spelling, which are in addition to her like core subjects. But those are all workbooks that take a few minutes out of her day, or add probably total 15 minutes. Um, so those came in after the second week of school, because the first 2 weeks we really just focused on the basics. Every day I wanted them to get math, language, arts, and science done. If anything else got done, it was great. If it didn't, that was okay. And kind of easing into everything was a good way to go. Um, Now we're in the routine, we're in the rhythm. They know what they need to do. They have all their supplies, so we're able to get through the day a little faster. And so overall has been going really, really well. I would love to hear how y'all's homeschools are going, because obviously, if you're watching this, you probably homeschool. Maybe you just want to, and that's great too, because it's always great to see somebody start up their homeschool journey. But other than that, I would love to hear how it's going for y'all. And if you think there's anything that we could do to change or improve, I'm always open to learning and more information. So until next time, y'all go read a lot. Thanks.